Good evening. Welcome to the Petaluma Community Access TV Board of Directors meeting on Tuesday, May 15th, 2012. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Thomas,
Here.
Adams,
Here.
Pearson,
Here.
Guy, Johnson, Davis, Fishman,
Here.
Williamson,
Here.
and Zapucci.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a quorum, and so we'll begin our meeting with public comment. Is there anyone here tonight that wishes to speak to public comment? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the Board of Directors comments and announcements. Does anyone have anything that they want to share with us or comment on? No? Okay, we're all good. Everybody got a copy of the agenda, and I believe there's copies if you folks want anything that we're looking at up here. There's copies on the table back there. Everyone got a copy of the agenda in the mail last Friday. Is there any modifications we need to make to the agenda tonight? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, is there anyone? Oh,
No, he's just
I saw
fast
your
to the
hand.
second.
Oh, he was fast on the second tonight, yeah. Okay, is there,
So actually second on a second.
I'll second the second.
okay, second.
That's
All those in
important.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Abstentions? Okay. I have the wrong agenda.
Yeah. Here you go, Josh.
Okay. Approval of the minutes for the April 17, 2012 meeting were also sent to you last Friday. I assume everyone's had a chance to look at them. Is there any corrections that we need to make to this?
None that I see.
Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the April 17 minutes?
I so
Oh,
moved.
Matt,
You have to
Matt
say
made the
something out loud.
motion, yeah.
I'm signaling today.
Yeah.
A motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the minutes have been approved. Treasurer's report from our treasurer, Matt Pearson, please.
Has anyone have any questions? It looks like everything's on plan and target for what we were budgeting. So,
Yes.
anything to add to that?
Yes, I could add that we got our Comcast paycheck.
Hey,
Dropped about 500 this time. It's been dropping 500, 400 each time. But it's still solid, $44,312.
Very nice.
AT&T hasn't come in yet, should be this week.
It looks like we're a little over, right? That we have a little balance, is that right? Did I read that financial statement correctly? 10 grand or so?
yeah, but we also, you know, some months we have bigger bills.
Bigger bills.
And so they don't always wash out every month.
But the bigger bills generally come in the first part of the fiscal year.
Yeah.
Pay the insurance all in one blow, that kind of thing. So we will have a carryover.
Good.
It's kind of growing each time I do a review.
Excellent.
But beats being in the red. Okay. Executive Director's report, please, John.
Very good. Well, first on my list of topics are new interns, and we have one of them here with us, Luke Lombe. That is how I pronounce it.
Hi, Luke.
Luke contacted us, we got together, and then that same day we bumped into each other at the Oculus meeting, and the connection was very strong, and he came in and did 3 shadow meetings, shadowing on the City Hall setup. Has soloed a couple of times, and here he is doing our meeting. We also have Andre Dews, who contacted us looking to help because he, with the cutback in Santa Rosa, he has less to do up there. He actually works with Matt. And when I was over visiting Matt, I bumped into Andre, asked him if he was free on Saturday. Yeah, sure. So off he went to the museum and he covered the museum event. Made a very strong contact with Joe. And that was to replace John, who's been doing it for over 2 years now, Matt.
And
So
thank
we
you,
actually have a
John.
pool, so the burden's not on your all on your shoulders now, John.
Oh, yeah.
And we've also trained Adonai on city meetings, so now we have 3 people who could step in and take a little bit of the load off of Van, who, when he took over Stephanie's position, didn't actually get to leave City Hall behind. I also made 3 appearances around the area. The Aquas Media meeting was really exciting. There must have been about 24 people there, and I didn't know any of them. A lot of media people in Petaluma I had never met. Then I went to San Jose. Pardon?
He knew me.
That's true.
What was the Aquas meeting?
Aquas has the Aquas community. It's a membership-based network, and they try to stimulate connectivity between people. And they've had nonprofit nights that we went to at the wine bar, and they had a special one on media, which brought a lot of people. It's kind of loud and boisterous. My voice was hoarse when I went, but then I also.
You know those media people.
Oh, yeah. And what was great for me, because it was the first time I was not really a pretender asking for something. I was the guy who had something, you know, come on over to PCA and we'll help you out. So it was a fun position. I went to Santa Rosa JC and had about a half hour with a video class. One of the students had actually been at Aquas, so the connection was strong. And I got a lot of questions, a lot of interest. They're mostly interested in internships, and that's not exactly an easy proposition. And summer's coming, so if they're not in summer school, but they know about us now. And finally, I went up to a charter school in Rohnert Park, Credo High School, and gave a little presentation there. That's a younger crew, but they were putting on a theatrical play that night, so it was perfect. Thomas has been honing his scheduling format. Pass this along. I guess you'd call it formalizing certain patterns. We were running religion all on Sunday, and that became kind of a bulk load. I'll keep one of them for myself.
Here, there's an extra one here.
Yeah, I could use one. A couple months ago, Thomas started scheduling Channel 27 in an 8-hour block. He would prepare 8 hours of programming, and that would repeat 3 times. And now he's moved to upgrade the static schedule on Channel 26, mixing religion in all during the week. And how would I see? So it would be like Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday repeat. So he programs once for Sunday, and that repeats Tuesday and Friday. Monday and Thursday repeat, and Wednesday and Saturday repeat. And there are some regular scheduled shows, block programming. We will also be rotating the movies more frequently. The movies will get, because they're repeated 3 times, he puts one movie in on one night, it gets shown 3 times that week. We get more mileage out of our content. Then we launched a different kind of approach to graduation and the DVD sales we hope to inspire. The last 2 graduations, we were taking DVD orders at graduation. And the first year was quite successful, the second year less so. But this year we decided to try to get flyers into the graduation programs. We were successful with Casa Grande. We just printed up 2,000, which will be delivered on Friday to get into their graduation programs. That's a little flyer that says you can buy a DVD of this graduation at PCA. Petaluma High preferred that we put the announcement on their website, and the alternative high schools, about 100 graduates, we're also printing up flyers for them.
May I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
Because each of the high schools prints their own program for the graduation, is that correct?
Yeah.
Is there any way, or had you considered or thought about or discussed actually getting into their program rather than going through the
Definitely,
expense?
it was a donation kind of. They sell spaces in their program
I see.
for funding. We have a half sheet that's going to be slipped in. So.
Okay, and was that a cost to us, or was that?
Just the printing.
Just the printing.
Yeah. And then the staff, I took back the date for the staff party, June 2nd, and they're all okay for that. We'll probably close the station. Haven't really sat down with my cohort on this, my accomplice on this,
What's that?
the staff party.
Oh,
June 2nd.
I was out of town.
What time would that be?
Probably 11 to 4 or something like that.
You're out of town?
No.
Well, I've been out of town, so,
Oh, because I am actually out of town
Out
that
of
day,
town.
so
oh,
Oh,
you always miss the fun things.
apparently. I'll be in Southern California.
And then I had somebody come in and propose a summer video camp for students. It's a proposal, it's an actual almost contracted arrangement. I'll pass that along. Isaac Lefkowitz, another casualty of Santa Rosa, looking for work. He's put on summer camps at Santa Rosa. His proposition is basically to take a week, charge $250 per student. He would take care of the advertising, well, we would help him. He would take care of the camp using just our facility and the necessary equipment. It's scheduled to occur from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., so it won't impact our office hours at all. We settled on 75% of the funds raised in this spot per student would go to him, and 25 would go to us for the overhead. I guess I was just bringing it more for a temperature reading. If you like this idea, this kind of partnership, contractual partnership, it's something we could develop for actual teaching of classes and our productions for hire.
How many kids?
He's looking for a maximum of 12, minimum of
12.
6. If we get less than 6, we don't have the class, but anywhere between 6 and 12, we do what we can. We've done a couple with the Phoenix. They're really high maintenance, they're a lot of fun, but they're high maintenance.
so you, I'm sorry.
Will there be other staff there with them at the time?
Definitely, there will be a staff on site, but he would be in charge of the class, the students, what they do.
And he's done these in Santa Rosa? Have we received any feedback or?
No, he came in last week and I said
I
I
see.
could bring it to the board, or I mean, I can mention it to the board if you put together a proposal, and I got the proposal today,
Mhm.
so.
I think it's a great idea.
It sounds like a great idea, but what about any liability concerns? You're dealing with kids, someone gets hurt?
Yeah, I'm really looking for a temperature reading now. There are details to hammer out, and that's a release that gets signed. And you know, it's also our equipment is at risk too, so. We will take it to the next step then. And then finally tonight, we have our spring sweepstakes, and I want to thank you for coming. I had a whole little speech prepared for a lot of newcomers who might want to become members, but you guys all know about PCA. But I did want to say, and you can spread the word on this, do you know that we have a new membership level for people who don't want to make television, who just want to help us and support us and vote in our elections? If you at $30 a year, you would be called a champion membership. Or for $250 a year, you could be called a superstar member. And I think that that's something we need to really promote this year.
Okay.
So, shall we adjourn to,
Yep, we're gonna need a motion to adjourn. We'll reconvene after we do the sweepstakes drawing, so. Can I get that motion?
I
Got a
would,
motion.
a second.
Okay.
Do we adjourn or do we recess?
It's a
We
recess.
recess,
Oh,
I think.
recess.
Well, yeah, I think we do recess.
Are we filming
That
this?
is,
yeah, we should come up, we can cut it out, we can cut it out so it's not part of the meeting, but.
okay,
I
everybody
missed
in
it.
favor of that?
I missed the motion and second motion.
I
A
second.
motion for recess from Williamson and a second from,
Uh,
Thank you.
okay. And everyone's in favor, yes, aye, all right. Okay, we're in
okay.
recess.
Okay.
And back into our meeting. We have no items in our consent calendar tonight. We'll move to the reports of committees. The first is the executive committee. There was an executive committee meeting at 6:30 just before this board meeting, and there were no action items from that meeting. Does anybody want to comment on that from the executive committee?
We just reviewed the process for the ED review and contract renewal with no
Yeah.
action.
Yes, we did. And if anyone wants to see that agenda, it's online. Okay, so Finance Committee, did you meet this month?
Did not meet.
Right, and everybody should know that we just had a very busy past month with Butter and Eggs Day Parade and everything, so that was our priority as far as meetings go. Nominating Committee has not met, Policies and Procedures has not met, Outreach and Development, I don't believe had time either to meet.
That's correct.
And the Members Advisory Committee did not meet. And there were no other committee meetings or subcommittee meetings that I know of. I don't even believe the Butter and Eggs Day Committee met.
So,
No.
I think we just executed everything that we did in prior meetings. Our next item is old business, and item number 1 under old business, we have possible action on board member resignation. And that's my item, and it's, as a formality, we need to decide here as a board if we will accept the resignation of Ray Johnson. He, for personal reasons, submitted his resignation at the last board meeting, and I think that we want to respect his wishes to take care of his personal issues, and is there any discussion on this?
No, I just said, I hope I speak for the board by saying that Ray was a wonderful asset for this board. He brought enthusiasm and expertise and freshness to it, and we will miss him.
Right.
And if I may, I will miss his synergy in working the business angle in Petaluma. He had a lot of energy and expertise, and I want to thank him especially for being up there at the banner at Butter and Eggs Day.
Yep, he did very well. He's made no secret about his illness. He's been very public about that, and we wish him well. He did good for us in the last year.
Yes,
Yeah.
great asset.
So is there a motion to accept the resignation?
Regrettably, I so move.
Okay, second.
I concur.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, anyone, any abstentions, or I
Yeah,
think I
take
heard
care.
an aye from everyone. Okay, it's unanimous, we'll accept that resignation. Item number 2, discussion and possible action on PCA presence at Rivertown Festival. That's John and I.
Yeah, nothing really has moved forward since our last discussion of this item. I have the paperwork. I'm not sure how we would get a booth. Most of the paperwork I got offline was for people who want to sell things there, but I think that's an easy one. There were a number of informational booths at the Butter and Eggs Day. Thomas's wife is involved. They do a ballet booth. We won't have electricity, so we won't be able to do a kind of show and tell we did at the fair where you can see yourself on TV. But we can certainly figure out something. Staff would be supporting a board outreach gesture at the Rivertown. I think that's a place where you can meet a lot of people in Petaluma and talk up the station. I thought the visibility of the board at the Butter and Eggs Day Parade was really heartwarming.
What is the date again on that? I'm sorry.
21st
21st of
July.
July.
No, I have July 30th.
Oh,
I have the vendor application July 30th.
What's-
It's called the Petaluma, California Rivertown Revival.
July 30th is a Monday.
Yeah.
Well, maybe their date doesn't make any sense then.
Maybe it's the wrong year.
Um,
Is that old form?
I thought I heard it was the 21st also.
Yeah, this is 2011, excuse me.
June 30th.
Yeah,
I said
it's
corrected.
the 21st.
21st, okay.
21st of July?
At the last meeting, we said June 30th.
Yes, I was reading off the same document
okay.
that was on the web.
So this is wrong.
Oh, so I had it on my calendar as June 30th. And now I'm in trouble because I'm not available July 21st. But I will definitely, I'm gonna hate missing that, but I will definitely still be involved with
Okay,
planning.
you know, we've been working on a revised brochure. That's been our target date, is to have a revised brochure ready for that. You know, it's a party, it's easy, you hang out at the table and
It's great, I
give away
love it.
magnets and talk to people about PCA.
The website shows that it's July 21st.
It's confirmed then.
That's gonna be a
I
problem.
apologize for my
No
error.
problem.
Okay. Okay, so,
Shall we push that into outreach and development or create a subcommittee for organizing?
Eric?
Well, let's do a subcommittee, only so we can pull in other folks outside of the outreach. What do you say?
Okay. Just a point of clarity, does a subcommittee, a working group, does that need to follow the same Brown Act quorum notice? No.
No,
Okay, so
because the subcommittee makes the recommendations,
just
and
recommendations.
technically, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then the
Okay,
committee
alright.
would bring it back here for,
Okay, so there will be an ad hoc Rivertown committee.
okay.
Shall we,
Who's interested in that?
Do you guys want to do an entry or just a
Just a,
booth?
well, we could talk about that. Oh, entry into the, I would think just a booth at this one. This would be more informative and we can just chat with people that are there and it seems to be more amenable to conversation.
Are we filming this?
Actually, John Merrill has filmed it the last 2 years.
Yeah, last 2 years, I did a half hour each.
I think the subcommittee could brainstorm this and maybe we're gonna do both filming within our booth.
Maybe we bring 3 cameras and when somebody comes in, we take them out and we shoot video.
Or what about the music? There's a lot of good music at that festival.
Yeah,
Okay.
stomping music.
Without electricity?
Okay, well, let's pitch it to a subcommittee to,
Mhm.
who's interested? Wanna be on that one, Tim? Yeah,
How about, Neil, would you be interested?
I am, except I'm out of town for a lot of June, but
Yeah,
but as
I'm
long
in
as
town
I'm,
for July, actually. And actually, I just looked at my calendar, I have a wedding that day. So,
You're already married.
well, just don't tell my wife.
I've got a little window like at the first
But I will be
week in
happy to be
June.
on the committee and, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a very tremendously large planning process. It's just a matter of getting a booth together and what we wanna have available and what our pitch will be when we're there. Is that correct?
Yeah,
John? Do
it's
you feel that
really,
way?
it's just a presence. We have a canopy tent, small one, white. We
Yeah.
bring a table, figure out some sort of camera presence. We can shoot some
Okay.
video.
So we could do, most of the meeting then, we could do by email, I would assume.
Pretty much.
And then we just, decide how we staff it that day.
I mean, I'm happy to be on it as long as if we can meet at the end of May, beginning first week in June, and then the last week in
In
June,
June.
first week in July.
Okay.
That's my
I'll
window.
email
All
it
right.
to Eric.
Fantastic. Well, we'll make it, and you're gone and off email the other times?
No, I'll be.
You're on email?
Well, I don't know about email, and then I'll be gone for about 8-10 days where I'm out of email range, I think. But-
Okay. Well, we'll just get it started and then see how it goes then.
Okay.
Create an e-list and start
Yeah.
putting some ideas on
And anyone else would like to be on this committee? Marcel, Matt, Cindy, Tim, John?
I can contribute, I just, most of June is pretty packed, and then July opens up.
Okay.
I'm gone for 2/3 of June.
Can we sell
Okay.
something?
Would you be interested in being on the email list?
Memberships,
Okay.
yeah.
So we have Matt,
Discounted memberships.
we have Neil, Cindy,
Yes.
you're in?
Okay, where's the meeting?
That's wonderful. Marcel, was that a yay or a nay for quietly?
You have a
That's
good
fine.
group right now. You have
That's
a-
it.
Yeah, you do too many, then we
Okay.
got a couple.
All right,
meetings.
Matt, Neil, Cindy, and Eric.
Right.
That's the group.
I have to stick with my
Tim?
tradition.
Tim is giving me
He's
that
gonna be a
kid in the
chef.
back
He's
of the
gonna be a
room
chef.
look right there,
Convince
like
me.
that, don't call on me look.
What if we
Okay.
team up with Comcast and AT&T and sell subscriptions? Never mind.
Any other details on this item?
No.
No?
Up to date
Are we
straight,
okay
that's
to-
a big breakthrough, we got the right date.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. We're done with item 2, so item 3 under old business, discussion and possible action on low power FM license, and that's Jason's item, and he's not here, and if you saw me texting during the meeting earlier, I tried to get a hold of him. I don't know, something must have come up for him because he didn't answer me back, so.
And he's usually
Would-
very
Yeah, and he's usually
responsive
pretty
and
quick.
prompt and.
Do you want me to
Neil,
call?
will address that?
You want to address that?
No, I was at the meeting, so the meeting happened, I wasn't there. But were you there, Neil? I didn't know, actually, there's a communication issue, it happened and I wasn't available.
Were you at the
You
meeting?
mean the meeting?
Low power FM.
We've only had, has there been more than just the one?
No. I think we're
I thought
working
we
together in a
discussed
second.
it
So we
last
had
meeting.
a
No, no, no.
report on it last.
There was one that you were at, that came up at the last meeting, who was
Yeah.
reported on.
Yeah.
Then there was an effort to get another meeting going, you were in Hawaii, so Zach didn't send you an invitation to it, but he knows you wanna be on part of it. So,
No, I think I kind of pulled out of that one, so,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
You may have gotten the
you can't
message.
make the meeting on the 6th, nor can I.
Correct,
So we're gonna have to reschedule that one, I think.
yes.
okay, so there's really nothing under item 3 that we can discuss or even act on now, so we'll table that for the next meeting. Moving to item 4, discussion and possible action on the butter and egg parade. And I just wanna, I wanted this on the agenda primarily just so that I could congratulate us on doing such a good job, the official congratulatory. We did a really great job, I think, this year. I think we outdid ourselves. Every year we get better on this, and I think we did a really good job. Marcel started the whole thing with her idea. It was a great idea. I think we really popped in the parade. Ray did a good job keeping things moving, negotiating the limo. Everybody contributed in their own way, and I think that we should be congratulated on that, so.
I thought from the audience it looked really good. There was a lot of people going, what's that? You know, really got a lot of heads turned. You know, people that weren't necessarily really paying attention to the parade. It's got a bunch of swivel heads. They
Yeah.
thought there was some Hollywood guys there.
Yeah,
So we got a lot of visibility that way.
yeah, and I don't know if, John, you did your own video production, and I don't know if the cat's gonna be out of the bag with your production or not, but most people don't know who was in the limo,
Oh,
so
they'll find out.
they'll find out from your
That was
video.
Surprise.
That was part of the mystery, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah,
I heard it was Lady Gaga.
yeah, we were barbecuing her dress in there. So, yeah, it was interesting because we got a lot of different reactions from our celebrity inside the car, and people were yelling out, "Who's in there?" Yeah, so it
And
was
you
a
would
lot of
pop out
fun.
the top.
Yeah, and then I kept popping out of the top with my video camera,
So-
yeah,
Next year we have a cake.
yeah. All right. So anybody else have any comments on the parade?
I thought the parade was wonderful, I thought a great success, thank you for everyone. My one comment is, it might have been helpful, and I don't know if we talked about this or it wasn't possible because I was not involved in the subcommittee, and I appreciate everyone who was, just to have a banner saying that this was the people in the limo and around the limo were the Luminarian People's Choice video winners. It might have been helpful to clarify exactly what the theme of the float was, but other than that, I felt very.
Maybe with,
Yeah, we had a very, we had a full day of debriefing via email with a lot of input. And there are lessons to be learned. I think the horizontal signage could have been stronger. We were very strong when we got close to the announcers because that explained it all.
Okay, yes, it did. It was a great
Yeah, it
experience.
did.
And I want to thank your whole family for coming.
Oh,
Eric,
sure.
that was neat.
That was good.
And everyone had a great time.
And we
Yeah.
had two people who had to bail before we got started because we got started so late. Fernando and his wife,
Oh, I see.
the Luminarian winner from
Right.
San Rafael. He emailed me right away and apologized, but he couldn't wait.
And perhaps this is a good time to talk a little bit about the Luminarian Awards, if I may. Do I have a moment or no?
Agenda, could have done it in the outreach.
Really?
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to reopen
We'll
committee
excuse you.
comments.
We
We'll
will.
pardon you.
Well, I just want to let everyone know that there is, the Luminarian Awards, our float this year, if you were not at the Butter and Eggs Day Parade, was a stretch limo, and in the stretch limo and around the stretch limo were those who won awards called the Luminarian Awards, which are People's Choice Awards for the best programming on PCA. It was the first year that we did this. It was very successful. We had a lot of entrants. We had several categories of video production, including commentary or social advocacy, local politics, religion and spirituality, music, art, and cooking, local color and culture, after hours, best overall show, best overall series, and best Petaluma promotion. We got a lot of entries for each one of these, and we will be holding the Luminarian Awards again this coming year with the winners announced in September. So please check the PCA.TV website for more information in the coming months. Thank you.
And if that doesn't convince them to make it so we can shoot it,
That's
then
right.
nothing will.
That's right.
Thank you.
You shoot it, we'll show it. And we're not talking about elk. Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, thanks everyone. No action on item 4, that was our last item under old business. Under new business, item number 5, discussion and possible action on committee appointments, and I see my name on there. We have a number of vacancies, I believe. The executive committee stands by the elected officers. Finance committee, Pearson, Davies, Fishman. I think we're okay there. Do we want to make any changes there? Nominating committee was Eric and Ray, and since Ray is no longer with us, we're gonna need another person on the nominating committee, especially since we have elections right around the corner,
How about a well-connected member?
like you.
I'm not a member.
Oh. Well, you should be.
I'm still not. How about one that is? And
Okay.
I'm not well-connected either.
Yeah. Is there anyone on this board that's interested before we take it out?
Not all at once, really. Okay, I can't take this.
Do we know of any members that are interested?
It's really a very easy, probably the easiest committee to be on, because it only happens for the election, and you're really vetting the process, monitoring the quality control, how we meet our steps and get it done.
And also helping to solicit potential candidates and nominees.
Well,
I think
these,
the whole board gets to do that.
yeah,
all the
these
time.
members, the nominating committee does not oversee the election. Those are the,
Yeah.
you're talking about the people that
No,
are in
no,
the.
not the voting, not,
Monitors.
but
Yeah, yeah. The nominating committee
No, they-
brings
they
the nominations to the board, the recommendations
Okay.
for nominations to the board.
That's right.
I don't have my bylaws with me, but this is different than the election overseers where we have either one or three, a committee of one or three. That's different.
that's right. And
The
then-
nominating committee are the ones that bring the recommendations to this board to vote on and support.
Right.
Remember how we did that last time?
And vet the applications and, or help the nominees go through the application process, which is nothing more than filling out a sheet of paper and letting us know what your
Right.
skill set is.
For
Yeah,
instance,
I'll do the nominating.
Nominating committee.
you will, okay,
Thank you.
because basically what it is if I want to,
Uh-huh.
if I identify Jude as being somebody that might be valuable as a board member, I would go to you and I'd say, I think that we should make a recommendation. You will collect a resume from her and then decide.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
Sounds like a great
Okay.
idea, Jude.
Are we all on the same page now?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you. And John, just a note on that, could you arrange with the Argus Courier to just post a notice that we're looking for new board members and for anyone to please apply?
And on our bulletin board, yeah.
They have to be PCA members, yes.
Well, they can become PCA members, and we do ask that they come to a meeting, at least one meeting beforehand, and we do try to find people that are interested and have a skill set that might be valuable to the board.
Right.
I would be on your vetting committee if you need volunteers for that.
We are gonna need volunteers for that,
Super.
and when that does come up on our agenda, you would accept that if we
Mhm.
identified
Actually,
you?
maybe we need inspectors.
That's what I'm
Oh,
talking
you
about,
want- okay.
inspectors, right.
Whatever.
We need
Election
either one
inspector.
or
Election
three, right,
inspectors.
One or three. Okay.
right. That's what you thought was the nominating committee, but the inspectors are.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jude.
Mhm.
So our nominating committee, should we all agree to this, would be Eric and Marcel. And viewers out there, if you're interested in becoming a board member here, you can contact any one of us, but if you direct your desires to the nominating committee, they'll assist you in getting set up with resumes to the board. Okay, Policies and Procedures Committee is Pearson, Thomas, Williamson, Fishman. Are we okay with that? Okay, Outreach and Development, Adams, Guy, Johnson, and Davies, so we're taking off Johnson. I think we can live with 3 on the Outreach and Development. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Members Advisory Committee was Ray and myself. So, you know, we need to get moving on doing something with that. I just haven't had time with all the other stuff I've been doing.
What is
Does
it?
anybody else? Members Advisory Committee is our members, it's a forum for our members to decide when they're gonna meet, the frequency. Usually somebody from this board, at least one person from this board sits on that committee as a liaison, and the members, that's their forum to discuss, you know, their issues, desires, whatnot, and then the liaison from the board to that committee brings it back here and they'll put it on the agenda if it's something that we need to act on. It's also a way for John to get input from members.
Yeah,
You
it's
know.
it's a way to give members a stronger access to board business than just public comment. They can have their meetings, they can have proposals. I'd have always hoped it would become a volunteer pool that I could call on. But it's been dormant for about a year now, so.
Well, how was it run before? Was it just an annual meeting or?
It was more ad hoc. It was when an issue came up, it would be a meeting and.
Yeah, I think at its height, at the height of interest, it was a monthly meeting. It was a small group of people. Jude, you remember back then, it was probably, what, 5 to 10 people that would meet once a month. It was, they did more kind of the fun stuff like decorate the station at Christmas time. They would make arrangements to get the tree, put a tree in there, stockings for each of the staff hung in there, you know, that kind of stuff.
They were also involved in policies and procedures, is that correct?
Correct.
Committee and creating
Correct.
Suggestions.
It was a way for us when we were,
Revising that.
whenever we would redesign any policies or procedures, it filtered through that group.
Right. The group actually could become involved in any way that they see fit and bring ideas and suggestions to the board.
Theoretically, is not the members' meeting their responsibility?
Sorry about
Rod Serling calling again?
Or is this Twilight Zone?
We've thought that many times.
Is members' meeting something that the
Yeah.
members' advisory?
that.
Well, you know, my feeling on this is that unless there is real member support for this committee, that this committee should just lay dormant until that member support comes forward. And because we've attempted several times to generate some interest, it hasn't quite happened. And we talk about it every single time in these terms, and that's as far as we get. So unless we have members come forward and want to create this,
Take
then I
advantage of
think,
the opportunity.
take advantage of the opportunity, then let's just
Right.
let this one lay.
Yeah, and I think,
I think the other thing we asked them to do is to help organize the annual members party.
well,
That's not happening.
Didn't happen
Yeah.
last year. But it's a good venue for participation, but.
I mean, it seems like, you know, because the membership is so small, that at least one meeting a year to discuss things and
yeah.
see who's interested and talk up new, you know, being board members and things like that. I mean, maybe even an hour before the annual party or another time, in which case, you know, I think it's a whole different kettle of fish. If it's another monthly meeting and it's not really leading to much, then that's.
Well, what we could
something
do
else.
is we could make this, well, actually at the members meeting that we're going to have in September, where we announce selection results and the Luminaria Awards, maybe we can do some recruiting there. And also,
I could certainly include it in any post to the Argus or bulletin board. It deserves its own call.
you're
because-
right, we could also make it a page on our electronic bulletin board. And we could also, because we're gonna be doing mailings and announcements through the postal service here, we could maybe design some kind of a flyer.
Mhm.
So if we just offer the opportunity for that group to meet, then I think we've satisfied our responsibility to have that committee. What do you think?
I mean, we have, I assume we have emails for all our members, is that right?
Yes, if they have email.
If they have emails, so, I mean, this should be maybe an email blast and
Mhm.
a meeting, you know, with a, you know, a short agenda, asking people what
Yeah.
they think and ideas they may have and ways to strengthen the organization or cool ideas or.
I was wondering even maybe the members advisory committee put together like a Zoom ring survey and just send it out on a yearly or something else
Oh, yeah,
basis to just
yeah.
maybe people don't have time to participate, but they can give our feedback another way.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
What's working for them and what's not working for them in PCA, and what would they like to see, what direction would they like to see PCA go, and for us to work on.
And then this committee is just kind of going through
Just
the
analysis
emails and
the data.
figuring out what's there and bringing that to the board.
Okay.
Did we try that once, John? It's a great idea, but did we do that?
We
like-
had a survey, yeah.
And what was our response on that survey?
It was a performance survey
It
though.
was performance.
Which we have to do every couple of years for a contract.
Right.
But this is, I don't know that we've ever actually, since the 3 years I've been here, surveyed the members just to say, what do you like, what do you not like, and
What are cool ideas you've got? Who knows, they might have some.
We might.
Do you feel like you have adequate staffing to give this to someone as a project, or do we need to?
well, I mean, I think really it's just the committee, and, I mean, I do them at work. It's 10 minutes to create the survey, and it does everything for you.
I thought it'd be nice and ask.
Yeah, no, there are concerns. I mean, Marcel got quite involved in an email we sent out about the drawing. And we've been sending out those kind of constant contact notices every Thursday. You don't want to saturate people's
Yeah, right.
inboxes with mail, so you have to kind of orchestrate it.
But they also have to hear something 17 times before they're gonna get it.
Well, no, we certainly have an outreach person who could pen that and sign it. I'm looking at the members advisory committee as somewhere where a member who really wants to help as a volunteer but doesn't want to sign up for a year or 3 on the board can have an active voice. And I think the call for that person, if that person came in, then they could run with this idea. If they don't come in, then we'll run with it. It looks like a pretty straightforward idea. Do you want to shape it in I'm talking to Matt. Do you want to send us the link where we would go to set up this survey?
Sure, there's a couple of them do it for free. You know, just gotta, you know, I think the issue with that, I think for the free ones, you have to have no more than 250 respondents, but we don't have that issue right now with the members.
No, we
Well,
don't.
wouldn't it kind of be worth it to pay for a Survey Monkey account since?
We can do as many as we want, as long as there's no more than 250 respondents. We can create 6 surveys, all with only going to 250 people on emails. You get all the same data.
Yeah, but do we want to limit ourselves to 250 if
Do
what we're
we-
doing is trying to build the membership?
Well, I think for something like
We
this,
should-
you would wanna do it to the membership, not any.
I think this, yeah, initially, we were to only have 120 members we're trying to advertise to. If it's effective, we can always subscribe.
And it can be incorporated into one of the regular emails, the PCA emails, so that it's not an additional.
Well, what we did in this case is we didn't do them Thursday, new shows. We used that slot to send out a special invitation to come tonight and get your entry in before the contest was over.
Thank you.
I'm thinking though that we just went to a lot of effort to build our email list. This would be a good way to exploit that, or activate it. And that could be a letter that is framed like, if you're not a member, you should become one. If you are a member, you should become, you know, there are other ways you can get involved with PCA, kind of and, you know, push the champion and superstar memberships.
Well, and the way to increase survey response is again with a giveaway, you know, a chance to win something, because people, you know, don't, I mean, people are so used to now surveys being tied to some sort of payoff or reward, even for a 5, 7, 10 question survey. We might get a greater response if we just do another, even if it's a, you know, a $40 Aquas dinner or something like that. At least we have an incentive.
I don't know, I mean, we're really just trying to figure out, we're trying to target the people that have an idea of what isn't or isn't working for them. Or if they want to compliment something, and I like this process, and I don't like this process. You know, or I wish we could do this. Things that is not developing naturally in the people in this room. It's just another way of doing outreach on top of having the parties or having a sit-down session.
Okay, well, this would be a great item to go on the agenda of the outreach committee.
And I'll happily throw some ideas out there, and put the survey together. I mean, I don't know if I need another survey, another committee to sit on, but I can always show up when they need me to for this topic.
Well, my point is, I think we're drifting off the actual agenda item. We're supposed to be
Just
discussing
nominating
here. This is,
a person.
Right, well, we're supposed to be talking about the membership advisory committee.
yeah,
Um,
we're talking about the membership of the committee, not the actual work.
I want to think that we've covered that agenda item.
Okay. Okay, so,
Do we want to put a person on there? This question is one of us, or would we like to hope that we can attract a new board member and put them into that slot?
well, are we talking about members advisory committee right now, or are we talking
Yes.
about outreach?
Members advisory.
Members
Because it is
advisory.
outreach.
Because I kind of heard a little of both in just the last 5 minutes, so,
To return to members advisory, Johnson is off. Cindy, you would stay on, we only need one board member on it. So
Right.
do we put a member seat vacant and leave it on the agenda so that it's there, or do we put dormant, or do we take it off the agenda until it happens?
no, you can leave my name on there, and when that committee does form, I'm happy until we make changes as a board to be that liaison. I'll attend their meetings, but as far as putting, I think there should be some outreach to the membership to see if there's interest in having that committee, was my point.
Well, I've already proposed that when I do the outreach to potential new board members, I will
Okay.
fold in, and if you're a member.
Perfect.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I think we're all in agreement
That's-
with that. Okay, so I think we need a motion. I didn't do a motion on each, ask for a motion on each committee. I'm thinking we just bulk it all together and see if we can get a motion to approve all the recommended changes we just made. Can I get a
I'll
motion?
move.
Okay, is there a second? All those in favor? Aye.
All right.
Okay, unanimous. Okay. We're done with 5. Item 6 under new business, discussion of possible action on the 2012/2013 activities plan, which John sent to all of us.
I've also given you all a slightly revised version with some feedback I got from Tim. It has the color logo on it, and it has the changes in red.
I didn't get a color copy.
Okay, here's an extra, here's another one.
Thank you.
Problem is I printed out 2 color copies.
Yeah, find the one with red on page 2 in the text.
revised draft,
Matt.
says at the bottom.
Got it. This is a staple.
Basically, Tim shot me an email with some typos, had a few questions about terminology, and nailed a really contorted paragraph, so did some serious rewriting on that. So you can see the changes in red. They don't change any of the ideas, they just make them easier to understand.
And the main purpose of this is it's a contractual requirement.
Actual requirement, but it also puts kind of an itinerary of where we hope to get. And I was kind of angling this, I was hoping to meet with Jason and really get a little farther along on the 5-year plan. The last 2 that I did were designed as a 2-year plan, and that made it easy because the second year I had a format already there and I just kind of updated progress, and so I wasn't writing over from scratch. This one I'm hoping to reuse the same format. I've isolated 4 fundamental priorities that never go away, and then started listing goals. And of course, they're not all the goals, but I'm just trying to create a logic that will help us put our desires into position.
Is there anyone here that feels like you or we are not prepared to move forward on this tonight?
Or not?
Because we can we can just save ourselves. If somebody feels like they didn't read this well enough, or they feel like these changes are significant enough that they need to go and study it more, I don't want to spend a lot of time
On the other hand, don't we have a
if we
deadline?
need to table it for the next meeting. I personally would like to move forward. I have read it. I don't see that these items in red are significant enough to change the meaning of, or, the spirit of what John put together. And I just want to know, does anyone feel like they need more time with this?
I think it's fine. My only question is, this is for the benefit of the city, and if you feel that it's adequate.
No, I'm not gonna, I have to sit on only one side of the fence at a
Yeah,
time.
I guess that's true.
No, I
But-
could say it is contractually obligated, it goes with our budget, which we approved last meeting,
Yeah,
and theoretically, it's supposed to go in May.
And
So if
it's-
it's approved, it's done, to which I would add the caveat that it's never done, we're constantly working on it. It's
but it's,
work in
but it's
progress.
along the forms of what was done last year, and it's similar, and it was
And it
accurate,
Right, it's an
and
evergreen.
it flies, so,
It's an evolving document because as other opportunities present themselves, this plan and the goals may change.
It's interesting to note that while it's in the contract, there isn't any requirement for what it has to have in the contract. It says we have to do one. I think it's
So I
like a
think
one
that-
sentence
Yeah.
item, right?
but it should be
Yeah.
something that
But it's, so we're.
whoever reviews it
yeah.
at the city level thinks it's a reasonable document, and that we know what we're doing, and
But we think this is also useful for our purposes, like John says, throughout the year.
I still think it's a good thing to do annually.
Totally.
I agree.
Well,
I think it seems largely reflective, accurately reflective of PCA and its activities and its plans, and I think it's also well-written and clear and brief, which I appreciate as well, so I think this is great as it is.
So just as a straw poll, do we feel like we're all ready to
Yep.
pull the trigger on this? Okay, so any discussion, questions for John?
The only thing and I don't wanna stall it, but, maybe I wish we had a paragraph saying that, and maybe add to the to-do list for next year, is just the further effort in doing outreach activities. And those take the form of buttered eggs, they take the form of the other community events, doing things at the college, doing things at the high schools. How we're trying to integrate PCA in with the community that isn't necessarily illustrated here.
So you would suggest a number 9 on this list?
Yeah.
And that would be outreach, and it would include the things that you said? Is that correct?
It's sort of, yes, and then, and it's, sort of partially number 8 touches there, but if this is gonna stall this past the deadline,
Could we make it a motion that we accept this and direct John to add an additional item under goals for fiscal year 2012-13 that would include outreach and would include a paragraph detailing our hopeful outreach activities for the coming year?
I would think we'd be able to do a subject to, yeah.
does that sound reasonable?
John, you feel comfortable with that?
Of course, it's not a problem. There's outreaches folded into a lot of these. The membership, trying to raise the membership implies that we're gonna be reaching out, I would say, publicize the benefits of supporting, so there's outreach built into that. The youth and the senior program is outreach. In media services, in the fundamental priorities, I talk about partnerships with other groups. So there's a lot of outreach in this. I do talk about a clarification between the core operational duties and the special projects. That's where I was going with butter and eggs. But I don't see it as an actual goal. I mean, it was a goal in last year. We really wanted to renovate our image and push it. I want to continue that this year, or consider it more of a fundamental priority that goes. I could add a sentence easily. Your call.
I don't, would the city appreciate saying that, naming particular types of outreach?
Can't hurt.
It seems like a good idea to me. It's,
We could do
We
it.
do
Emily.
participate in all these festivals, and we're gonna do Rivertown, we just did Butter and Eggs, it's a good thing to put in here,
And we covered
Oh.
the graduations,
yeah.
so it might be worth just saying that we plan on continuing, our participation in blah, blah,
I could,
blah.
I see two easy ways without making it a goal. Media services could be, there could be a sentence added to media services, and the fundamental priorities is that publicizing our services and reaching out to people to take advantage of them is a fundamental priority, fundamental objective. Another option would be to, like I did with the fundamental priorities, I had 4 bullet points, and then I had a closing paragraph that kind of summed it up. These are the 4 priorities of the core functions. I could add something like that under the 8 goals, saying all of these goals will benefit from a vigorous outreach program. Those are 2 ideas. I just don't see outreach as an independent goal. It's a tool to get something else done.
Program.
But, I mean, wrong?
Well, I guess I agree with what you're saying. I just was trying to say, if I read this, where do I find, besides the TV channel, where do I find PCA? How are they integrated in the community? It does talk in generics. I just thought maybe I'm okay with it.
The way you just framed it, I would put another sentence in media services. The last sentence of which is, in addition to serving those who walk in our doors, reaching out to support the media needs of local nonprofits and Petaluma businesses, and the expansion of these services that continues to enjoy attention. Obviously, making those services known in our coverage of parades and graduations. I could go somewhere with that.
Well, I think what Matt is saying, and I agree with him, is that the idea here is that we want to show that PCA is sort of a good citizen, not a corporate citizen, but a nonprofit citizen. And that is also one of our goals, is to become part of the community, and that we do participate in very important and high-profile city activities. And that's not reflected in here, and it'd be nice to say, because we're already doing it, so it's a continued goal in many ways. Is that correct?
Yes.
What was that term? Just good citizen?
A good nonprofit citizen.
Would that constitute a fundamental priority or an annual goal?
I think it's a fundamental
I
priority.
think it's a fundamental priority.
Okay, so instead of having 4, I'll have 5. I will create another fundamental priority, which is good citizen.
But it's also, it's publicizing, helping to publicize Petaluma and local events.
Yes, exactly. It's
And
becoming,
really being
it's
part
becoming
of
a
the
booster.
whole
It's a
mix.
Petaluma booster,
Yeah.
to use an old high school term.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it now.
And the motion says, put it in and we'll accept whatever you do.
Yeah, the motion is to,
How's that?
sorry,
Here,
can I
go
make a
ahead.
motion?
I'm gonna send it to you, because you read it and you send it back. You catch the typos.
How about we propose to accept it, John will send out the amended plan with a limited time to review it and submit those back to John. We have 3 or 4 days to review it and send it back.
I don't think we have to approve it in the meeting, I think he can do it.
Yeah.
You can just do it.
I would
just send
think it'd be more efficient if you say, we approve this with
With those
subject to,
additions.
and designate a board member to work with me on it. And that board member's happy.
Sounds good.
I'll write it, I just
Sounds
like
like a
having a sounding.
That would be
board.
Tim.
Yeah.
Matt,
Tim.
I concur as well.
Tim,
Tim.
who's the sounding board?
Tim.
Tim?
Okay, I move.
Come on, you never do anything, you
I'll
won't be on
second.
any committees.
You're already doing it. You already gave John positive, valuable feedback.
Okay,
So I move that we accept the activities plan and budget for fiscal year 2012 to 2013, subject to an amendment or addendum or an addition outlining PCA's corporate, nonprofit citizenship and good neighbor, now I'm going way off, more
Stuff.
stuff
Yeah,
with,
what's in that water?
yeah,
Oh, it's already starting to turn, we got some.
okay. So that's
To
the,
work with,
to work with Tim.
I'll
You
second.
could even say, we'll add a fundamental priority to that.
Okay, add a fundamental priority.
Okay, so there's a motion by Eric and a second by Neil. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstentions? One abstention.
Mm.
Tim?
Okay.
Okay. And
Looks like it's on TV.
the last item under new business, discussion and possible action on the ED contract renewal. And,
That's easy. We should.
oh, is that a motion? No.
Okay, could.
The,
I thought there was that other candidate we were going to
No.
was Meg Whitman, was that her
Something
name?
like
Yeah.
it.
She's tied up right now.
Okay, and
Culture
just to
fit.
summarize for the viewers, our executive director, John Bertucci, has an expiration date approaching for his employment contract, and we, as a board, need to decide, are we gonna, has everybody looked at the contract, or just the executive committee?
I only wrote to the executive committee.
Right, okay, so how would you like us to move forward with this?
Contractually, you have to, let me know if you want me to come back in another year by 30 days before the end of the fiscal year, which would be May 30th. So if you're not prepared to approve it now, you would probably have to call a special meeting to do so.
Well, the entire board needs to see the contract before they can vote on something, which is why I'm asking.
Or we can vote on having the executive committee do something.
Why do we need to review a contract?
It's, you can all look at it, it's not a hidden document.
It's also not new.
There are pay raises and stuff like that involved, so.
Personnel issues involved.
Yeah.
So it should have been a closed session.
Yeah, I think, I guess I dropped the ball on this. I should have been thinking more about this.
it's the same contract as last year, except for the 2.4% raise, which I think is very reasonable. That's the only change to the contract.
Especially since we forego some of the raises in previous years.
Well, I don't hate delaying things, but we should have, as an executive committee, voted on a recommendation, folks, and we didn't. And so, I think what we could do is we could,
That's a motion.
let's think about making a motion to extend the contract 1 month, the existing contract 1 month, and then whatever, after the entire board has reviewed the contract that the executive committee reviewed tonight, we vote on that the next meeting, and should it be approved, that there be retroactive raises. Would that work? I don't see any other way around this. Do you?
We could do it one
Well,
month.
is it out of order to simply approve this?
I don't see, for some reason, I think there was an issue in the past, which I didn't look it up, and I was actually looking to go pull up the policies, or the the bylaws again, but I understood that the executive committee sort of negotiated that and it made a recommendation.
But the executive committee
Didn't take
had the
action.
item on their agenda earlier this evening and did not
Yeah.
vote on a recommendation, is what I'm saying.
Well,
But
they could-
I already reported to this group that there were no actions in the executive committee,
Correct.
so
Is the executive committee
But-
still here? Why don't you reconvene for a minute?
we
It wasn't-
would,
Have to post it.
We'd have to vote.
yeah.
But
exactly.
if memory serves me correct, the changes that were made to John's contract were approved a year ago, is that correct? And these are just continued, changes that, we talked about, so there is nothing that the executive committee needed to even, talk about, because these are changes that were automatically inserted into his contract based upon negotiations that we did a year ago.
Has this always been a one-year contract?
Yep.
I was just thinking that too.
It seems, I mean, is that traditional, I mean, is that typical with this type of organization to have a one-year?
It's typical that we goof it up every year.
Um, There's been some history where the board has felt that it was safer to do,
It's nice to have a
1
one-year
year's.
contract, because
Be-
you never know
yeah.
who's gonna be in that seat, you know, we're lucky to have John, but might be someone else.
we've had some bad apples. Bad.
Just check.
It's not
Um,
real fruitcakes.
Well, you know,
Make a
Oh.
motion, Neil.
I move we approve the contract
I second that one.
As is.
as is. I mean, as was reviewed by the executive committee this evening, and unless there are objections from any members of the executive committee.
I
Okay
second
with
the
that.
motion.
Okay, I've already voiced my discomfort with not the entire board having seen it, but.
How do you know we
I'm
haven't
only
seen
one
it?
vote,
How about if we?
because John just admitted it a few minutes ago.
Mhm.
It was, it's the same.
I mean, it's the same contract he's had, it has a reasonable increase after not
Which was
having
approved a
increases
year
for
ago.
number of years. That was approved, I don't think we should stand in the ceremony on this one,
Yeah.
especially since there's a deadline, and why come back in a month to do what we know we're going to do?
Makes
Are
a
you
lot of
comfortable,
sense.
Tim?
Totally. Plain
Marcel?
sense.
I'm comfortable with it, yes.
Matt?
I'm comfortable.
Okay, all right, so,
Motion Neil and,
Right.
second,
okay, all those in favor, raise your hand.
All right?
Okay, it's unanimous.
You had your
All
turn.
right,
Thank you.
yay. Thank you, John, for your
You would have
hard
been
work.
covered.
I wasn't
Either way.
worried. It's just all
You
that
would have been covered
retroactive
either way.
stuff.
Your only issue is,
Yeah.
did you want to kick it into closed session? Like, so what?
I was just trying to be really rigid with the rules for a reason. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
I'll relay that information to our bookkeeper for the next,
You will?
yes.
Okay,
Great.
all right. Any comments from the audience?
So we bailed out the executive.
Everybody's
committee
happy? Okay. All right then, we have no other items. There's nothing in closed session, so can we get a motion to adjourn?
again. So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you everybody
All
for
right,
coming.
thank you.
Good night.
Andy and I.
Thank you.